Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring the world of Susanna Gabriel.
Okay.
And she's described in the source material as, well, a lot of things.
Yeah.
A holistic psychotherapist, a spiritual guide,
Interesting.
and someone who communicates with, this is interesting, tarot cards and the Zohar.
Wow. That's quite a combination.
Yeah, what do you think about that? It's not every day you hear about someone blending psychology with,
Right, with spirituality and these ancient mystical traditions.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you curious about her approach
Yeah.
to healing and self-discovery.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, the source material emphasizes that Susanna uses tools like, tarot and the Zohar in a way you might not expect.
Okay.
It's not about, fortune telling,
Right.
but about accessing a deeper level of meaning and guidance.
Okay.
Like, for example, instead of predicting, disaster when the tower card appears,
Yeah.
she might use it to help you identify, areas in your life that need like radical change for growth.
That's a really good example. It speaks to, I think, a key aspect of her work.
Yeah.
Tapping into something, larger than ourselves to gain insights and direction.
Yeah.
And that brings us to
Go ahead.
her concept of holistic psychotherapy.
Okay.
It's this approach
Yeah.
that views mental well-being as interconnected with like all these different things.
Okay.
Your physical health,
Uh-huh.
your emotional health,
Okay.
and your spiritual health.
Oh, wow.
Not just like isolated symptoms.
Okay. So instead of just treating a specific issue,
Exactly.
you're looking at the whole person.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like a doctor might consider,
Yeah.
your overall health.
Like with lifestyle and
Your lifestyle, exactly.
okay.
In addition to like a particular ailment.
gotcha. So she's not just looking at one tiny piece.
Exactly. Susanna sees psychotherapy as this bridge
Okay.
between,
Okay.
our inner world and our outer world.
Okay.
She describes our psyche as a roadmap
Okay.
containing like all the information we need to navigate life,
Yeah.
and our spirit as the compass
Okay.
guiding us in the right direction.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It suggests that we already have the inner resources for navigation.
Right.
That map, right?
That map within us.
But we might need help aligning with our true north,
Right. Exactly.
our inner compass, to actually use those resources effectively.
That's a really insightful observation.
Oh, thanks.
It seems like Susanna believes this process of aligning with our true north
Okay.
requires more than just traditional psychological methods.
Mm-hmm.
She emphasizes the importance of intuition,
Uh-huh.
emotional sensitivity,
Okay.
and a connection to, the spiritual realm.
Okay, that makes me think about Susanna's role as a spiritual guide.
Mm-hmm.
The source describes her as someone who can help people see
Yeah.
their unique purpose and path. Almost like she can translate messages
Oh, interesting.
from higher realms into something we can actually understand and apply to our lives.
I find that idea really compelling.
Yeah.
But I do wonder, is this just like a metaphor? Or
Okay.
does Susanna provide concrete tools
Right.
for actually reading this internal map and deciphering those messages?
Yeah.
It's one thing to talk about a spiritual compass. It's another to,
Right.
actually use it to navigate.
That is a great question. And it leads us to another fascinating aspect of Susanna's work,
Okay.
her communication abilities,
Mm-hmm.
particularly her use of tarot and the Zohar.
Okay.
We've already touched on how she uses tarot,
Right.
but I'm particularly curious about the Zohar.
Okay.
It's not a text you hear referenced very often
Yeah.
in personal growth circles.
No, not really.
What specifically draws her to it?
Well, the Zohar is a mystical text
Okay.
from Jewish tradition,
Mhm.
often seen as offering insights into
Yeah.
the nature of reality
Okay.
and the soul.
Okay.
Perhaps Susanna sees it as a way to connect with a deeper level of wisdom and understanding,
Okay.
a way to access those,
Yeah.
higher realms she often refers to.
So if her approach to psychotherapy
Mm-hmm.
is about understanding that inner roadmap,
Yeah.
maybe the Zohar and tarot are tools she uses to illuminate the map
Okay.
and help people interpret its symbols and meaning.
That's a really interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we connect this to Susanna's role
Mhm.
as a spiritual guide,
Okay.
perhaps these tools also help her tap into the
Mhm.
wisdom and guidance of those higher realms,
Okay.
allowing her to translate those messages for others.
Okay, so we've got this fascinating picture emerging.
Yeah.
Susanna uses holistic psychotherapy
Mm-hmm.
to help people understand their inner roadmap.
Okay.
Then she uses tools like tarot and the Zohar
Right.
to illuminate that map.
Mm-hmm.
and access a deeper level of wisdom and guidance.
Yeah.
But how does this actually play out in practice?
That's what I'm curious about, too.
Yeah.
What does a session with Suzana actually look like?
Yeah.
Does she integrate these tools into, traditional therapy sessions?
Right.
Or are they used in a separate context?
Right. Good question.
Perhaps we'll find more clues as we delve deeper into the source material.
Let's do it.
What really stands out to me is this idea of personal empowerment that seems to be like woven throughout Suzana's approach. It's not about her having all the answers, but about guiding individuals to find their own.
So it's like she's saying, you have the map, now let's learn how to read it together.
Exactly.
And I can see how that collaborative spirit would be really empowering for people.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned Suzana empowers individuals.
Right.
Isn't there like a risk that relying on spiritual guidance could make someone overly dependent on her?
That's a really valid concern.
Yeah.
It definitely raises questions about the balance between, guidance and independence. But from what I'm gathering from the source material, Suzana's intention seems to be more about facilitating a connection with one's own inner wisdom and less about, creating a reliance on her interpretations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it seems like this collaborative approach extends to her use of tarot and the Zohar as well.
Exactly.
It's not about her dictating what these tools mean, but using them as like a springboard for dialogue and deeper understanding.
It seems she views these tools as a language of symbols and archetypes. And Suzana acts as a kind of like a translator. Helping people understand the messages coming from their own subconscious or perhaps even from a collective unconscious.
Yeah, it's a fascinating way to think about it. It's like she's helping us decode our own inner wisdom using these, ancient systems of knowledge.
What's truly remarkable is how Suzana bridges the gap between the mystical and the practical. She takes these ancient traditions and tools and makes them relevant to modern life and, modern challenges.
So it's like she's found a way to translate ancient wisdom into a language that speaks to the anxieties and aspirations of modern individuals.
And she doesn't just talk the talk. She walks the walk.
Yeah, the source emphasizes this balance she embodies between sensitivity and strength, gentleness and sharpness, spirituality and practicality.
Exactly.
It's like she's a living example of what's possible when we integrate these seemingly opposite qualities.
Exactly. She embodies a very harmony she encourages in others. That makes her message even more compelling. It's not just a theory, right? It's a lived experience.
This makes me wonder, what kind of impact does this approach actually have on people? How do they describe their experience with Suzana? Does the source offer any firsthand accounts?
That's something I was wondering about, too. It would be fascinating to hear from individuals who have worked with Suzana and see how they describe the impact of her, unique approach. It would add another layer of depth to our understanding of her work.
Absolutely. It would be great to hear how people translate the insights and inspiration they gain from working with Suzana into tangible changes in their lives.
Speaking of inspiration, it seems like Suzana's message revolves around guiding us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe. It's not just about feeling better. It's about, reaching our full potential and living a life of purpose and meaning.
It sounds like she's inviting us on a journey.
Yes.
Of self-discovery and transcendence. A journey that goes beyond limitations, beyond fears, and into a deeper connection with ourselves and something greater.
Yes. It's about recognizing and nurturing the inherent wholeness within each of us.
And meeting Suzana isn't just about meeting like a therapist or a guide. It's about encountering ourselves in a new light.
That's a powerful concept.
It is. But before we move on, is there anything else in the source material that jumps out at you?
One thing that keeps coming back to me is this idea of Suzana as a translator of sorts. It's not just about translating ancient texts or interpreting tarot cards, but also translating those deeper...
Soften intangible realms of consciousness into language and experiences that people can grasp and apply to their lives.
That's a great point. It's like she's bridging the gap between those unseen realms and our everyday reality, making those deeper levels of wisdom accessible and relevant.
And that bridge, it seems, is built on a foundation of trust and intuition. Trust in Suzana's ability to guide and intuition in her capacity to discern the messages that are most relevant for each individual.
But how does she build that trust? How does she cultivate that intuitive connection with the people she works with?
That's a great question.
We'll dive into those questions right after.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm still thinking about this whole idea of Suzana as a translator. Bridging the gap between these hidden realms of wisdom and our everyday lives. But as you're saying, it all seems to hinge on trust and intuition. How does she actually cultivate those things in her work?
Well, the source material doesn't really delve into specific techniques or anything, but I imagine it involves creating a safe space, a supportive space for people to open up and, explore their inner world without judgment. So it probably involves things like active listening, empathy, and a genuine desire to understand each person's, unique journey.
It's not just about applying a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about meeting each individual where they are. And tailoring the guidance accordingly.
And maybe part of building that trust also involves Suzana demonstrating her own vulnerability, her own, commitment to this path of self-discovery and spiritual growth.
It's about walking the walk. Not just talking the talk. And the source material definitely emphasizes that Suzana embodies the principles she teaches. Remember that balance we talked about? Sensitivity and strength, gentleness and sharpness, spirituality and practicality.
It's like she's a living example of what's possible when we integrate those seemingly opposite qualities.
And that embodiment, that authenticity, likely plays a key role in establishing trust and credibility with the people she works with.
It's one thing to hear someone talk about, spiritual principles. It's another to actually see those principles reflected in their actions and their way of being.
This makes me wonder what kind of lasting impact does this approach have on people's lives?
Do they just feel better temporarily? Or does something more profound shift within them?
Good question.
From what I'm gathering from the source, Suzana's work aims for a much deeper transformation. It's not just about alleviating symptoms, but about empowering people to become the authors of their own lives, to navigate their own journeys with clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection to their inner wisdom.
It's about equipping them with the tools and the confidence to read their own internal map. To trust their own compass.
And that, to me, is the most inspiring aspect of her work. It suggests that true healing and growth aren't something we receive passively from an outside source, but something we actively cultivate from within with the right guidance and support.
So it's not just about Suzana having the answers. It's about helping people unlock the answers that already reside within them.
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it. And maybe that's the ultimate measure of success. Not whether Suzana provides, the right answer.
But whether the people she works with ultimately discover their own.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
It really has.
We've explored Suzana's, unique approach to healing and self-discovery. Her intriguing use of tarot and the Zohar, and her emphasis on, personal empowerment and inner transformation.
It's definitely challenged us to think about what it means to truly heal, to connect with our deepest selves, and to navigate life's journey with, more awareness, purpose, and a sense of connection to something greater.
It has. And as we wrap up, I keep coming back to Suzana's powerful metaphor. The psyche as a roadmap and the spirit as a compass. So as you move forward, consider this. If your psyche is the roadmap and your spirit is the compass, what direction are you heading in?
That's a good question.
And what tools will you use to navigate your journey?
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.